Race friends, they're back together again. Live from Daytona Beach, Florida, it's Scratch with a K. And live from Las Vegas, it's Alan Michaels. Right here, right now, on the flagship station, the WCOBM TV network. It's on Pit Road Racing.
To you, everybody. There we are, man, in Las Vegas, Daytona there, down in there, Scratch with the K. Good afternoon, Alan Michaels. We are in the Local IQ Media Center in station number 4, broadcast room number 4, suite number 4, whatever it is, just directly outside of the main podiums in here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. It's race weekend here. And of course, last night, actually got it kicked off at the Bull Ring. The Legend cars were there. The SRL Tour was out there last night. Super late models. So they had a good show out there. And of course, today we'll get ready to get it kicked off at the big track here, the M Better Health 302. And then of course, tomorrow it's the big show, the South Point 400. Here in Las Vegas, presented by the South Point Hotel and Casino. And of course, it's the round of 8. Live from Daytona Beach, Florida. He is my partner, my partner in crime, my racing buddy, and everything else. Scratch with the K. How you doing today, sir?
Good. How are you, Alan Michaels, man? I love you, man. How you doing?
Well, I'm in there. Listen, man, a lot of people, we sort of kept things underneath the hat and everything else. A few select friends. We've been off the air for a while. And real quickly, I'll just let everybody know, we'll sort of make it publicly now. It really sort of started with Diane, and her health sort of dipped down. And we found out that Diane only has one kidney, and her kidney counts dropped down to a 17. In fact, she's preparing to go on a list for a kidney transplant. The numbers have actually come up for Diane. She jumped from a 17 up to a 22. Then his last count was at like a 31, but they still are going to put her in. So she's been battling everything. And then it was about a year ago that I was getting up in the morning and doing my thing, Scratch. And all of a sudden I looked down at the toilet and there's blood in the toilet. And so I called my primary physician and come to find out that I had 4 tumors in my bladder. And so on December 18th of this past year, I had the surgery done, and it was the tumors were removed. Everything has been fine so far. Not some real aggressive aftercare, but things that help me move along. And so I've had I've actually had 8 CT scans and 8 blood tests since this period, and everything has come up negative. So that's a great sign. I'm real happy, and real happy with that. We have they did discover that you still have 2 very small tumors, and so we're making preparations to have those. But everything so far has been really good. No problems. I lost a lot of weight, and so I've been eating like crazy, Scratch, trying to get it back up. But that's really about it. And I found out that the problem I had with my hip and walking was not anything that had to do with the cancer. It has to do that I've got a pinched nerve between my L5 and S1. So I've spoke to Dr. Garber, who's my surgeon here in Las Vegas. They're getting ready to take care of that along with Dr. Grant Carno. So that's going to happen within the next week or so. I'll be down a couple of days, but I'll get my hip back in, and then we'll have this final procedure done. And then as they're calling for it now, they'll do another round of CTs and blood work. Everything comes up clean. It'll go 90 days, and then I'll go for one for 6 months. Then one for a year, and then they'll test me over a 2-year product, a 2-year time period. And then after that, if everything is clean and clear, I get to ring the bell and I'll be cancer-free. So that's the story in a nutshell right there. So
we're looking forward to that day for sure,
yeah.
man. I missed you. I'm glad everything's going better.
Well, I wasn't one to sit in, hospital emergency rooms and take pictures and this and that. I mean, I'm not knocking anybody who does it. If that's what your thing is, more power to you. Right. And I didn't really want to go so much publicly with it until we really knew what was going on. And I've been worried about Diane. She's improving. She's here at the racetrack. She's going to be on with us tomorrow and for Cup Day. But she's doing a lot better. Her spirits are a lot better. I'm feeling a lot better. I want to thank you, Gene Woods, my employer, who owns the WCOBM. Yeah. He also owns the Gene Woods Racing Experience, and thanks to Gene out there who stuck behind me 100%. Gene's brother had bouts with cancer, And but he has stuck with me 100%. A special shout out to Chuck Trickle, the late great Dick Trickle's brother. Chuck lives here in Las Vegas. Chuck has been in contact with me just about every week through this whole procedure, and he went through some surgery with his hip. But Chuck has always picked up the telephone. Mike, Alan, how you doing today? And is there anything we can do for you and everything else? So there was a few people along the line that we knew, but it wasn't that we were trying to hide anything or anything like
Right.
that. We wanted to make
Just
sure
kept it more private, just a little
That's
more private and personal. Of course, I was
Go
aware
ahead.
about it. I was aware about it, and myself, and I prayed for you, and I'm happy we're here together again right now, for sure.
There's one thing I want to do, say, gentlemen, and mostly because of me, a guy. Gentlemen, if you get up in the morning and or any time during the day and you do what we need to do and you look down at that toilet and you see blood, please go to your primary physician, get yourself an appointment with the urologist and their surgeons or whatever it might need to be. I think my grace and Scratch, and everybody out there, I think my grace in this whole thing was that we caught it early. And I got right into it, got the surgeries and treatments and things got going. And I think that I caught it early. So, if something happens out there, guys and ladies, if you're men, whatever, get them to your primary, get them checked out because this stuff doesn't play around. And also, real quickly, a special shout out since we haven't been on the air to Mike, rest in peace. God love Scott Gaffarini. He was such a great racer here in Las Vegas. So we lost Scott to cancer and 7-time track champion at the Bull Ring and just a great guy. Loved this show, partook in this show, co-hosted on the show, was a guest on the show. Anytime we ever went to the pits, Scotty would never turn us down for an interview or a hamburger, a hot dog, a cold Mountain Dew, or a Pepsi, or whatever it might be. And we haven't had a chance to say anything about it, but we sure do miss Scott Gaffarini, Scratch. He was a great racer, buddy. Great racer.
Yes, sir. My condolences there as well.
Well, listen, buddy, we're back in action here in Las Vegas, and it just scratched just a couple of minutes ago. The NASCAR Xfinity Series garage is opened up, and of course, just about 3.5, 4 hours away from now, they're going to be running. Also on the schedule today, Scratch, we're coming up just about 35, 40 minutes away. There's going to be NASCAR Cup Practice Group A, 20 minutes, and then the B group will go out 20. Then we'll have NASCAR Cup qualifying. That's going to be going on today, 2:20 to 2:30, and this is an impound. Okay, so after racing, all the cars will go to impound for this event, and then coming up a little bit later on, of course, they've got some on-track activities for the guests and fans and everything happening down there. Then right after that, about 3:55 this afternoon, our time, 7:55, 6:55 your time back there, Scratch NASCAR Xfinity driver introductions. And at 4:30, which would be 7:30 back there at Daytona on the East Coast, we've got the Better Health 302. And stages today, 45, 90, 201, with a shot at 301.5 miles around this 1.5 mile high bank, Scratch.
Man, I sure would love to be there. We had talked about that before, and then I knowing what my circumstances were going to be here this week, then I'd probably be out there with you right now. But before we move on, I want to just shout out real quick to my high school, Hernando High School in Brooksville.
Right.
They won their homecoming game last night, and that was the first time I'd been there in a long time. I saw actually one of my friends I saw there I hadn't seen in 36 years. And that was the first time he had been back there since we were in high school. And but yeah, I was over in Brooksville, Florida last night, and I went over to my high school's homecoming game, and they beat Lecanto 28-24. So that's why I'm sporting my Hernando stuff. Just want to shout out to my alma mater real quick for winning that homecoming game last night. It was a lot of fun to be at. It was a really good time. So I just want to shout out there, give them some love.
Great football weather here in Las Vegas. It's finally getting cool. It's going to be great today. I don't think the high's going to get anything past 80, if even that. The clouds rolled in, so the sun's sort of cooled this track down today. They were looking at a little possibly rain, which would have washed it green, but I don't think I didn't see anything out here on the way out to the track today. And say anything out on the way to the track today, but it was cloudy, but it's going to be cool. Tomorrow, the forecast, sunny skies, daytime high here, 76 degrees tomorrow, with a slight breeze going down the Nellis backstretch, about 10, 15 miles an hour. But it's going to be a beautiful day tomorrow here for round number 8, Scratch, or actually the round of 8.
Yeah.
First race of the round of 8.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. I've been listening to everything. I don't think it's really any big surprise. In fact, I got this stuff all loaded up here, and I don't think it's any big surprise. Kyle Larson's up on top of the thing, and somebody beat him. Somebody.
Yeah, that's so we
beat him.
say that. Yeah, say that all the time. Yeah, it's Kyle Larson, man, young money. He's he can race. This just in, he's a race car driver for real.
He is. We had him on the show last year, and I flat out told him, Scratch, that I really think, as far as America, he's the number 1 driver. He is the guy. I don't care what you put him in.
No,
he
I
drives.
agree.
You can put him in NASCAR. You can put him in a sprint car. You can put him in a modified. We've seen him drive IndyCar before. I don't know if he's ever tackled an F1, and I don't think he's in fact or an F1 car. And I know that he told us on the interview that he had really no inhibition to drive NHRA. He had says 0 to 305 miles an hour in 4 seconds ain't my gig. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of racers out there that race everything. There's only a select few that are great at it. At racing all of them. Tony Stewart's one of those types of guys. Goes into whatever cars he's in and is competitive. And Kyle Larson, same thing. There's, like I said, there's a lot of guys, that are racers that can race anything, but winning in anything is a different breed of race car driver.
It really is. Like you said, Tony Stewart has won it. He's mastered Indy cars. He's mastered NASCAR. He mastered the sprints. He run modifieds. But Tony, and now he's in drag racing now. In fact, just picked up his second title shot in an alcohol dragster a couple of weeks ago. In fact, they're on their way here. That's the next big event here in Las Vegas coming up in about 2 weeks. They're back to 2 wide, just a couple of races left. But Tony's going to be making his way, and he's had a good. He's not had a stellar year, but he's had a good year for considering his rookie year in Top Fuel. Fuel in driving Leah's car. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. Tony Stewart is, he's like I said, he's a racer's racer. It's a lot of people either like him or they hate him. I happen to be a fan of, as I've always said, a fan of guys that race anything. But like I said, it is a select few that's great at it. And again, a fair, his rookie year in Top Fuel, it wasn't horrible either. No. He's in it, so I think it's great, to be honest with you. Same thing with Kyle Larson. Again, we all know I don't root on Hendrick's teams, much, just because that's just the way I kind of grew up, man. I think Darrell Waltrip's the one that ruined it for me, to be honest with you. But that's a story for a whole nother time. But you got to give people props when they're due. I've been vocal on this show about I never was a Dale Earnhardt fan, but do I hate Dale Earnhardt today? No, of course I don't. When he was racing, of course I did. I was that guy, but come on, man. That's one of the greatest race car drivers I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Kyle Larson fitting into that category as well. One of the greatest race car drivers I've seen in everything he gets in.
This race, after 32 races, 7 wins, 17 top 10s, 14 top 5s, and 5 poles. If you look at like NBA stats or NFL stats or whatever, you want to match this up. I'm
a true believer in numbers never lie. I'll tell you that right now. And those numbers say champion all over them.
That's it. Any surprise you think he's on top? Any surprise at all, considering what we've watched this year?
No, not really. Not really. The consistency and toughness that he has, it's not a surprise.
On tomorrow's program, where we recorded it this week, everybody, we've got standing in currently in the second spot. Actually moved up a couple from when we did we caught the interview right out of Charlotte from the rollover. But Joe Gibbs Racing, Christopher Bell, we've got a great interview, Scratch. We're going to air that in the program tomorrow. Standing in second spot for Joe Gibbs Racing. I mean, if you look at down the line, I mean, Joe Gibbs has got two drivers up into it, and I mean Bell's in the slot in the top four. Denny Hamlin just got off of the stage here, currently on the bubble, sitting in sixth. Christopher Bell, what do you think about this kid? What do you think about this kid here? Currently, here you go too. Just to let you know, for this year, right now he stands at 3 wins, 21 top 10s, 13 top 5s, 2 poles. He did have 6 DNFs, but young kid Christopher Bell, what are you thinking about a Joe Gibbs, buddy?
Yeah, he's great. I think he's actually got a pretty good shot myself, but those DNFs, that doesn't help, and if that's a lot of them. So once again, when I say, numbers don't lie, 6 DNFs, I mean, how many races are left,
We're down to 4. We're down
the,
to 4.
the numbers say there might be a DNF in there for you. Is all I'm getting at.
Standing in third, we're going at it. Michael Jordan, Denny Hamlin, 23-11 racing right here. No, the number 45 of Tyler Reddick. Scratch right now on the season so far, 2 wins, 19 top 10s, 11 top 5s, 2 poles for him. He has 2 DNFs, but keeping Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin happy there with that new team.
Yeah, it's funny because I was looking through the the drivers that are left in the chase, and Tyler Reddick, I believe Tyler Reddick has a legit shot. I really do. I believe he's got a really good shot. He and Ryan Blaney repeating are the 2 things out of everybody in there, the 2 things I'd like to see, to be honest with you, myself as a fan and of the drivers that are left. So I think Tyler Reddick's got a real shot though. That 45 cars has been pretty well. He's driven it pretty, he's been behind the wheel of it, racing the hell out of it. So yeah, I think he's got an outside shot. I believe in Tyler Reddick. I believe he belongs there for sure.
I do too, and I'm going to tell you the reason why. If you sit and you look back last year that Earnhardt Sr. won his last championship, didn't win a race all year, but what won him the championship was consistency.
Yeah.
And I think for 23-11 racing and for Jordan and Denny Hamlin and for Tyler Reddick, who pilots the car, I mean, consistency all long has kept him in the thick and a shot to win this title. And I do agree with you. I think if I was to bank on somebody right now, out of these top 8, if I was to pick a wild horse, if you want to call it, I think right now, I think I would, if I was going to, I'm here, buddy. You lived here. You know what it is. I think if I wanted to run down to my favorite local casino, I think I might have to drop a little money on Tyler right there for the simple reason how consistent he's been all season long. So
I believe he's the dark horse. I believe that out of those final 8, nobody's really looking at him, and I mean he's right there. He's right there in it, and he's got I believe he's got a legit shot. They can win races, too. Yeah. So they're capable of winning races.
Yep.
And so I don't know. I think he's the dark horse for sure. I think we're gonna find out soon enough. But is the question is Kyle Larson's gonna be the one that's so hard to beat? But anything can happen any given Sunday. So we'll see.
There you go. Currently in the 4th spot. In fact, we did it. We got an interview with him. We're going to roll it tomorrow on the program with us tomorrow. Scratch. He currently stands in the driver ranking of 4th with 3 wins. He's got 18 top 10s. He's got 12 top 5 finishes, 1 pole, 4 DNS. We're talking about Hendrick Motorsports driver, the number 24, William Byron, will be on the program with us tomorrow. But Hendrick here, there's 2 of the Hendrick cars right there, all locked up into the top 4 so far, and we still haven't got to the rest of the top 8. So once again, it looks like Hendrick is controlling it. But your thoughts about the young kid in the old Jeff Gordon colors, buddy?
Yeah. Yeah, again, that's another good driver. Hendrick's got him a good stable of drivers right there. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. As far as the equipment goes, you know what I mean? I think it's going to go to Larson. I know they act like they don't do that kind of stuff, but I would imagine they're focused a little more on Larson. So I don't know about any other Hendricks cars having a shot. I mean, maybe Chase, but Chase hasn't had the best year, even though he's in the final 8. I don't think Chase has had the best year of his career by any means whatsoever. So I don't know. As far as the Hendrick stable goes, there ain't nobody else to talk about but Larson, I don't think.
Well, this year, of course, he was the Daytona 500 champion this year, and back in 2016, truck season, regular season champion, and then 2017, he was the Xfinity Series. I'm looking at a couple of things here too, man. I mean, if you want to start looking at his average start, which has been just about 9th, right below 10th average through so far, 286 laps led. But here's the big thing, and I think this is what's really sort of, if you look at it, 13.6 on the average finish. So if you want to look at it, 13th to 14th is his average finish per week. So, Williams, I mean, he's got good equipment, and let's just see if he can hang on to the darn thing and make, I think what's going to be the thing for Williams, he's got to get, I think if this thing comes down to points for him, it's going to be tough. If he can lock in this week or possibly next week and lock in, I think he could be a shot for that. Hey, let's pay a bill or two here. And I got a thing I need to roll for the Las Vegas Motor Speedway and our good buddies at Gene Woods and everything else. So we'll do that. Scratch, we'll hang tight. We'll come back and we'll review the second half of this round of 8. Okay, you got it?
Sounds good. Happy to be back, buddy.
You got it on Pit Road Racing. I'm live here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Scratch back in the home base in Daytona. We'll be back in 2 minutes, everybody.
He's going to do a little arc to try to get under you.
In the heart of the desert, the stakes have never been higher.
This is not just another race.
8 drivers have given everything, but they're going to have to give more.
Racing doesn't build character, it reveals it.
It's more than a race.
Have a great day today.
It's a party on wheels.
Like
An escape from everything routine.
You got to ask yourself, do you feel lucky?
The NASCAR playoffs return to Las Vegas for the South Point 400, October 18th through the 20th.
Are you ready for the wildest ride on Fremont Street? The Gene Woods Racing Indoor Go-Kart Track Experience. 450 Fremont Street, suite number 171 on the corner of Las Vegas Boulevard and Fremont Street. Open 7 days a week, noon until midnight. Strap yourself in, pull your safety belts tight, and feel the power and the speed at the Gene Woods Racing Indoor Go-Kart Track Experience, downtown Las Vegas, Fremont Street, 450 Fremont Street, suite number 171, right on the corner of Las Vegas Boulevard and Fremont Street. What are you waiting for? Log on, get your tickets now. It's time to go racing at the Gene Woods Racing Indoor Go-Kart Track Experience, 450 Fremont Street, downtown Las Vegas.
Again, back at Las Vegas Motor Speedway in the Locale IQ Media Center. Broadcast station number 4 right here for you. Alan Michaels here in Vegas. We have a Daytona Beach at headquarters there, Scratch with a K. Getting us started this weekend, just a couple of hours away for the Better Health 302. The Xfinity Series is here. We'll get to some information about that in just a couple minutes with Scratch. Let me get my little phone giggy and my notes all pulled up here for you. So far, we've went over the top 4 that are standing right here for the chase. Kyle Larson sitting at number 1, Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick, and William Byron from Hendrick Motorsports. Jump over to a Ford here for you, Scratch. Number 12, the defending champion, Ryan Blaney, on the bubble, but currently sitting in 5th spot, 4 points back from William Byron. And let me just pull it up to see what we have for Mr. Blaney this year for you. Currently with 2 wins, 16 top 10s, 9 top 5s, a pole, And another thing that Ryan Blaney had a bad year with, 7 DNFs, my friend. Just not a good
Yeah.
year.
Well, there you go. There's the problem right there. Numbers. There's a chance with so many races left that there might be another DNF in his future based on the numbers. But
Right.
one of the things that I was saying about him and why I'm kind of rooting on it. You haven't seen back to back in a while, so it'd be cool for Ryan Blaney of all people to maybe come off with a back to back championships. I'd be rooting on that. But I mean, again. That's just me rooting on that. Do I think that can happen? You're telling me seven DNFs.
Yep.
That goes right back to what I was saying earlier. Just there's a chance with how many races exactly are left again?
You got three. You got three left. You got three left, including this week. Okay.
Yeah.
3 left in Miami's on the schedule. They head down to Homestead, Miami next week, and then of course to the Paperclip in South Virginia, Martinsville Speedway. That will be the last shot to qualify before they go to Phoenix. And by that time, of course, the Final Four will set and they'll run the finals. So basically 4 weeks left in the season, 3 make it to the title run. But I mean,
with 7, you got 6, 7 DNFs through the year. I mean, there's a chance to get another one through that amount of time. But every track's different, every race is different. So that but numbers are numbers, man. I'm a believer in numbers, and I hope he's able to finish every race, not get a DNF. I'm not wishing that on anybody. I'm just it's tough out there. It's tough out there. It's tough out there on NASCAR.
And in his defense, about 3 or 4 of those DNFs, there was nothing that he could do. He was just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
That always happens. I mean, that could happen to Kyle Larson for crying out loud is what I was going to say.
Yeah. Well, and here's a quick note. If you remember last year in the 23-24 campaign, I mean, this is when Blaney took off.
Yeah.
I mean, he about 3 races before we got to this point, before we got to the start of the chase. And then all of a sudden, Blaney is somebody like put nitro up. You thought he went from NASCAR to NHRA because somebody hit the nitro switch on him. And this kid, he just went off.
And they're all capable of winning just as easy as, they're capable of getting DNFs. I mean, Blaney's capable of winning races. He won, what would you say, 2 races this year and, has 7 DNFs. You would think DNF might be more probable, but you know what? Ryan Blaney can win. I mean, he is the defending champion. So, let's not take that for granted just because he got 7 DNFs this year, because like I said, he could win all 4 the next 4 races.
That is correct.
Anything's possible.
So far, how we got it stacked up, we've got 2 cars from the Hendrick stables right now. We've got 1 car from 2311, Michael Jordan, Denny Hamlin, and then we've got Christopher Bell. And our next gentleman, Denny Hamlin, teammates for Joe Gibbs Racing. Denny currently sitting in the 6th spot right now. He's 8 points below on the bubble line. And Denny this year, looking at Denny's stats for this season right now, 3 wins on the year, 15 top 10, 15 top 10s, and 10 top 5s, 4 poles. 4 DNFs this year for Denny Hamlin, and of course, this title has it's evaded him for years. I mean, he's pretty much got that. He's got the Daytona wins. He's won at Charlotte. He's pretty much won just about everywhere. But the thing that he has not been able to seal is the granddaddy and ball, standing at the podium at the end of the night at Phoenix and lifting the big trophy. So, does Denny? My question to you is: this Denny Hamlin's year?
No.
Ooh, man, quick.
No, I just feel like he's destined to be that guy that doesn't win a championship. I think, and then I think his karma gets him a little bit in that too, just from him becoming the villain all of a sudden. But yeah, I just think he's going to be that guy that's that Dan Marino, so to speak, that Bill Kelly, so to speak, person that hey man, he's a great driver but never won a championship. I think he'll be that guy.
Always going to be the bridesmaid, but never the bride, or he's going to be the best man and never the groom. I guess if you want to look at it.
I think that's the. I don't know. I just think that's the way it's going to be. I think some of his. I mean, although he's still a great driver, I think his greatest days might be a little bit behind him, and I just think maybe karma's catching up with him along the way now.
Kids are getting younger. They're getting
right.
they're coming up through these ranks. They're coming up through these ranks. There's a little kid. I want you to see if you can look some of his name is Carter Beatty. This kid can drive. In fact, I think it was 2 weeks ago. Gene showed me the article on this. He's running sprints. He's running with Larson. He's running with Harvick, and he's running these guys, and he spanked them.
How old
This
is he?
kid, yeah, he's like 13, 14 years
13.
old. I'm not kidding you, Scratch. This kid, and then you look at Kyle Busch's kid coming up, Rexton.
Yeah.
This kid's winning too. I mean, and the darn stand that I got the camera on in the control room right here is probably taller than this kid. It's unbelievable. But what I'm getting to is the talent that's coming up through this thing, and getting. I mean, they're not getting any younger, buddy. And the kids nowadays on all these simulators, you're going to hear a thing that I talked with William Byron on. He was the first guy that he actually is like a pro football player and basketball. He's watching tape. He says that's one of the first things he does on Tuesday morning. He goes into the shop. He watches tape of the race. I said, I've heard people doing the simulator stuff and, comparing to this, and now they can set these sims up to be any track that they want it to be.
Yeah.
And actually going back old school and watching video, I mean, I was impressed. I really was. I couldn't believe that. I thought, well, I've heard of it in football, basketball, baseball, whatever, hockey, soccer, but I've never heard anybody that. All right, Denny Hamlin. So you say he's out. Your opinion of it is he's going to be the best man. He's never going to be the groom. So we'll
That's
move
right.
on.
That's right.
So we got it locked in now, right now. So that's 2, 2, and 1. We'll move it on. Standing in 7th right now, Hendrick Motorsports, Chase Elliott, former champion, voted most popular driver. Chase this year, I don't think has had a really good year at all. 1 win. 17 top 10s, 10 top 5s. He hadn't won a pole. 1 DNF. Average finish for him 11th over the year. Is Chase got a shot? Do you think he's got a shot?
I had just said the only Hendricks car that really has a shot is Larson, but I silently root on Chase. Very silently. Well, I guess not that silently because I'm talking about it now, but I let the cat out of the bag. But I do, he's got an outside shot as well. I think he's, championship pedigree, in my opinion. He won a championship already on his own. He's always been a great driver. This is an off year for him, but I don't think an off year is necessarily got to continue. Just because you started out with a bad year doesn't mean these next 4 races might not tell the tale for you. I know he's highly capable. But, like I said, it is an off year for him, but he's traditionally great. So I feel like he has the potential to still be great.
I look at something, and I like Chase. I liked his dad.
Yeah, for sure.
Dawsonville.
For sure.
But is it? It just seems like the car's only as good as the driver's only as good as the car. I mean, the driver, the car's got to be, we were sitting in a conversation yesterday here in the media center. You can build the car, okay, but it's the driver that can only push it so far.
Yeah.
And it just seems to me that Chase's equipment hasn't been as good this year, sort of towards the tail end of last year into this year.
But whose equipment in that stable is better?
Well,
that's my point.
Guy's leading right now. I mean,
that's my point. That's my point.
I always said this too, and I don't care. I'll take heat for it. When Junior moved into Hendrick Motorsports after the whole demise with his dad passing away and everything else, and he left DEI, he went to Hendrick. But I always thought that the concentration was at the end of the Jeff Gordon era, coming into the Jimmy Johnson, and Jimmy's now hitting. And it just seemed like Dale's car didn't perform as well as what Jimmy's did and what Jeff Gordon's did. And I think Dale Jr. has got just as much talent as anybody that had on that track.
Well,
I really do. I mean, I think he has just as much as Jimmy, just as much as Jeff, Kyle Busch, any of them. Okay. But I just kept seeing that his car, it seemed like it kept breaking. And was he getting the best stuff?
I'm gonna go with no, because I just remember, when he went to Hendricks, most people were all about like how many championships he's gonna win over there.
Yeah.
And he went over there, and I would say his career at Hendricks was disappointing for all in all, as a whole entire package was disappointing because there wasn't like one championship.
Yep.
I have to agree that he with Jimmy Johnson there and Jeff Gordon there had to be third in the pecking order at the time. You would think, at the least. And it seems like that was more of a business move than a this guy's going to win races for me move, or we want this guy to win races for us move, or anything like that. We got Dale Jr., one of the most popular guys ever in NASCAR.
13
Still
times.
to this day. Still to this day, though, he's popular as hell. But yeah, you're right. You're right. As far as that goes, 13 times.
13-time most popular. And he won it on his last, and he won it here in his last year, and he didn't even race that year. He came out, and basically the reason why he was here was to help promote NASCAR, obviously, and racing, but to accept the 13th most popular driver of the year. In fact, that was that year. If you go back and watch the videotape, Diane and I were standing on Media Row, and he and his now wife approached, and he's the one that let the cat out of the bag that he was engaged and was getting married on New Year's Eve. Now, he didn't tell us where the wedding was going to be at, but he said, we're engaged, and Amy showed us the ring, and it's all on the videotape on pit road. You go back years ago. But anyhow, I always thought this. I don't care. Sue me. I always thought that organization, and I'm not calling the name out, the organization, took Dale Jr.'s name for what Dale Jr. was in his name and talent, but his name, and used it and got money. But I don't think all the money went to his car.
But that's why his talent was still able to win a few races there.
Yeah.
He was still able to be competitive there.
Yeah.
For the most part, but he wasn't as dominant as the other two cars. He wasn't as dominant as he was at DEI. He wasn't as dominant as all of us probably expected when they put Dale Jr. in a Hendricks car. I
personally thought he was just going to smoke everybody off. I thought he's going to get the best equipment.
Well, a lot of people thought.
This is Dale Jr., man. Junebug, whatever you want, we want to also name him Junebug and all that. I thought, man, when he goes there, he's going to have the best. He's going to have the best cars every week. He's going to get the pick at the top of the line of the motors that are coming off the rack. He's going to get and it just never seemed. Yeah, he won races, I think, of his talent. But
I'd have rather seen him go to Richard Childress myself.
I always said that,
and he would have. He may have even done better, because he would have been getting the best stuff Childress had back then.
Yeah. Last on the list, Penske's. There's the two. We got the two now. So you got two from Hendrick. You got two from Penske. You got two from Gibbs. And the lone shot guy out there is Tyler Reddick at 23.
Yeah.
Joey Logano, former champion. 2 wins this year. Not a stellar year for Joey. 2 wins, 11
lucky to be there.
wins,
He's lucky to be there.
And 6 DNFs. Yeah.
Yeah. Lucky to be there. Literally lucky to be there.
Yeah.
I mean, a week ago he wasn't there, and then he was again. So
he's lucky.
But again, another guy capable of winning races, man. And that's, you win. If you make it to that last one and you win it, that's all you got to do. So, it's hard to say. I mean, these guys, everybody's capable of winning races. Some of them got better shots at winning races, maybe, but they're all capable of winning, and that's all it takes.
Right. I agree with you. He can win. And you know what? You watch some of him. Remember Dale Jarrett? Dale Jarrett would go out, he'd win the pole, he'd lead a lap, and then he'd sink the car, especially at the big tracks, Daytona, Talladega.
Sit right in the back the whole time.
He'd sit back there and his car would stay clean. And he'd say, I want to play bumper cars and smash and crash and bash. Go ahead, because with 20 to go, I got a clean car, and I'm just going to pick my way through, y'all. And
that's what he did too.
And Joey Logano, I see Joey Logano. Now he doesn't necessarily tail it to the back, but the thing about Joey Logano that I see, he keeps it. If you look at him, watch it, he keeps his car clean.
Yeah.
So when it's time, when it is go time, Joey's got the car to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like I said, he's capable, but he's lucky to be there. And I don't give him much shot. But I mean, again, it just, you go to a track you're good at. If you stay consistent for a few races, then you get to that final one, then it's the one race, you get to that one race and it's just one race. You just got to beat the other guys. So, which is, I mean, every week really, but yeah, I don't have much hope in Logano doing much.
Well, that's what it's going to be looking like tomorrow, because there's 37 cars for the South Point 400, a field of 40. And of course, we didn't have a full lineup. So there's actually 3 open spots here for the event tomorrow, but it's all locked, said and done. And of course, qualifying be getting underway and getting ready to roll with that. But for tomorrow, man, this thing gets started, Scratch. We get started early. I mean, the catering comes in at 5 o'clock in the morning. The rest of us, everything opens
catering.
Catering. Yes, we've got catering. We got catering. And of course, if you haven't picked up your credentials and passes and things, you can get those at the NASCAR hauler starting at 7. And then basically the whole place opens up at 7 o'clock. We've got NASCAR team access is permitted. That's where we got the fan VIPs, the track walks, the garage will be open, drivers meeting in the Neon Garage is out, so it's open for the public for tomorrow. They'll have a track service meeting. The drivers meeting is scheduled to roll at 10:30. Red carpets all the way up, and then driver introductions at 10:55, and then the green flag will fall for the NASCAR Cup Series South Point 400. There'll be 3 stages to this event tomorrow. Track will be hot all the time through laps 80, 165, and wrapping it up with 267. We are traveling 400.5 miles for the South Point 400 tomorrow, Scratch. That's a look at it, buddy.
Hey, that's pretty awesome, man. So you're gonna stay the night there tonight, or you go Uber again tomorrow?
Now you already got me started on that.
I know that was.
I can't leave this alone.
Nobody knows what I'm talking about, but you do, and I couldn't help but laugh. I'm sorry. What a horrifying story, though. Funny, but horrifying at the same time. It turned out okay. It turned out okay, so you're all right. So that's what makes me laugh about it. Of course, I'm a comedian, so right away when you told me the story, I saw the funny side before I saw the danger side, and then I thought about it, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, my friend might have almost just got kidnapped."
So here we go, folks.
Yeah, tell them this is great.
First of all, I want this to be known. I have no problem with anybody that wishes to come to the United States of America.
100%.
I have no problem at all. I don't care what country you're from. I have no problem. Come here and do it legally. Fill all your paperwork out. Make sure that you have all your credentials and ducks in a row. Your I's are dotted, your T's are crossed. Just like it would be if I was your Scratch or our viewers and listeners, if you were to go and wish to move to another country. And there should be one requirement, and especially for people that are working in the transportation business. Learn the language of the country that you are in. So, in a long story,
I say that all the time when I'm watching On Patrol Live, by the way. If you can't communicate, it can get dangerous, I'm just saying.
So we get up this morning, my wife and I get up, we get up, and we have coffee, Scratch, we have our morning cigarettes and our protein, our strawberries and bananas, and we're getting ready to come to the track to get a hold of you and start
you eat good.
Okay, yeah.
You eat
so
good.
anyhow, Diane calls because
catering?
I wish, yeah. We got catering here. We got catering.
I know. I was just saying, you eat good.
I'm getting ready to eat here in about 2 hours, but an hour and a half, and here and there. So to get to this whole thing, we order an Uber to take us out to the track. We brought out everything yesterday is set up here in the studio. Gene and myself, technicians, everybody were here. So the car comes, and we have access to get in underneath the track into the infield here where the media center is located in the Neon Garage. If you've never been here in Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
But great facility, by the great facility.
Okay. So I give the Uber driver my pass that you put up in the window, okay? Like if you're going to the football games, you pay for parking, you put the little thing up there, right? And I said, ma'am, and then actually Diane goes, ma'am, you'll need to post that up there so that way you can get us to where we need to go. She nods her head and puts it up there. So I reach in my pocket, and I don't know, it was a $20 ride out here. So I reach in my pocket and I pull $10 out. And I go, ma'am, this is a little something extra for you. We appreciate the extra help you're doing for us. So she takes off. She goes to the 15. Instead of jumping on the north, she jumps on the south. The next thing I know that I'm going down past the World Market Center, the Stratosphere, Harrah's, Caesar's Palace, the Bellagio. I get to the football stadium. And I tell the lady that she's going the wrong way, and she speaks no English. Not a drop of English. I'm sorry. Hola, Corona no lime.
Corona no lime.
Gracias. I'm sorry. I just don't know. I'm a 64-year-old man. I've been to Mexico on a cruise boat. I've been to the Bahamas on a cruise boat, but that's it. Nobody spoke the language on the boat. So
that's vacation. That's different. That's different. That's vacation. You can vacation anywhere you want and not speak the language, but if you want to live somewhere, you should probably be able to communicate with people.
So we get down and she pulls off 2 exits past where the football stadium is. She tells me that she's taken me to 6840 something South Las Vegas Boulevard, but at the same time, she can say Las Vegas Motor Speedway. I honestly thought, folks, something bad was going to happen to my wife and I. I mean, she doesn't even understand the word pull the car over.
Yeah, you didn't know if you were being human trafficked or not, did you?
So here's the kicker of the story. So my wife gets on the app, the Uber app or whatever, right? Scratch, folks.
Yeah.
And so she's trying to get a number for assistance. Well, then the security team for Uber calls us and says, well, the only thing that we can do for you, they have no one there that can translate to this woman. Like, you're taking them the wrong way. Okay. So she says, the only thing that we can do for you folks is that I can call 911, give them the car name, make and not on the license tag in your location, and have Metro pull you over because you feel like you're being kidnapped. I could see this all going bad, real bad. You know what I mean?
No, I hear you.
Get out of the car. The guns are. Yeah, I could just. All I'm trying to do is get to the racetrack and do the show and enjoy some motorsports. That's all I'm trying to do. So anyhow, that was our adventure. This morning.
Well, we're glad you're safe. We're glad you're safe. You and Diana, we're glad.
So we finally got her to take us back home. So we did that. Well, Diane explained the situation. They gave us credit for the ride. Thank you, Uber, for being cool about that. And so we just waited 5 more minutes.
How did you get her turned back around and go in the right direction?
We had to send her. We had to go back on the app thing, and before she stopped, Diane sent a thing. It said take us, and had to put it in to take us back home.
Oh, interesting.
There's a
so you took a different Uber. You took a different Uber out there.
Oh yeah, I could not wait to get out of this car. I'm not kidding you, folks. Scratch. I had a panic attack. Like I've never felt anything like this, to where I couldn't communicate with anybody.
Listen, so when you told me the story earlier, and I just thought about it, and I mentioned it, I thought it was something that everybody should hear. First of all, for the entertainment value of it. I mean, because you're okay now. You know, everything's okay.
I'm fine.
She just went the wrong way. She didn't understand English. She wasn't kidnapping you. At the time, if you think you might be getting kidnapped, no, that's not funny. If you called me from the Uber and was like, Scratch, this lady doesn't speak English and she's taking me south and whatever, I think she's kidnapping us, I wouldn't have been laughing at the time. But in hindsight, it's a pretty good story, and thought they should hear it.
That's how we got to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway today. I mean, this was, I couldn't believe it. So my advice of it is, folks, when you get into a car nowadays,
if they say "Hola," you better speak more English to them before y'all pull off. How about that?
I mean, I have friends of all races, colors, creeds, everything. We all do. And I'm sorry that I just didn't learn the language in school. But
no, I thought I would never even use Spanish, of all things. I had Spanish class in school, and I couldn't stand it. I just did. I couldn't see a purpose in it, just like typing. But now I type every day, and I'm horrible at it. You know what I mean? I thought I'd never type. We all type every single day, texting and everything. I made some stupid decisions as a kid. That was one of them.
I don't know. I don't know what to say. I mean, folks, come on. I guess when you get in, man, you need to ask, do you speak English? I mean, and when the second Uber came, we asked the lady, we did, do you speak English? And do you know that, and does your map show us that you're taking us to 6,800, between 6,800 and 7,000 North Las Vegas Boulevard to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway Complex? Yes, that's what it said. Okay, let's load up and go. Unbelievable.
The other thing would have been, do you know north from south? Would have been a good question too.
God. I mean, I was there. I was ready to. I mean, we're going down. Folks, if you've not been scratch lift here, he knows. You're going down to I-15. We're flying down there 65, 70 mile an hour. And I swear to God, I was ready to jump out of the car. I was freaked out. God, I couldn't wait. It was something else.
Well, we're glad you're safe, but
I am.
It made for a fantastic race story today. You were like, I'm gonna call you at a certain time when I get out there, whatever time that was. I thought you did get kidnapped. It took a while.
Oh yeah. I hear Cup cars are out on practice right now. I'm looking. I
can't hear them, but I believe you. That's pretty awesome.
We got television monitor inside the control room. So yeah, they're out practicing. In fact, we were just talking about Chase Elliott, and there he goes. He's rocking it down the backstretch. Hey, quick break here, Scratch, and we'll come back and we'll set the field. I got the final practice for Xfinity, and we'll talk the pole, and we'll see what ends up happening here.
I got a little exciting news too to talk about at the end of the show. We'll get to that. It's pretty fun.
You got it on Pit Road Racing. Alan, I'm here in Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Scratches at the home of speed, Daytona International. We'll be back with more right after this, everybody.
In the heart of the desert, the stakes have never been higher.
This is not just another race.
8 drivers have given everything, but they're gonna have to give more.
Racing doesn't build character, it reveals it.
It's more than a race.
Have a great day today.
It's a party on wheels. An escape from everything routine.
You got to ask yourself, do you feel lucky?
The NASCAR playoffs return to Las Vegas for the South Point 400, October 18th through the 20th.
Are you ready for the wildest ride on Fremont Street? The Gene Woods Racing Indoor Go-Kart Track Experience. 450 Fremont Street, suite number 171 on the corner of Las Vegas Boulevard and Fremont Street. Open 7 days a week, noon until midnight. Strap yourself in, pull your safety belts tight, and feel the power and the speed at the Gene Woods Racing Indoor Go-Kart Track Experience. Downtown Las Vegas. Fremont Street, 450 Fremont Street, suite number 171, right on the corner of Las Vegas Boulevard and Fremont Street. What are you waiting for? Log on, get your tickets now. It's time to go racing at the Gene Woods Racing Indoor Go-Kart Track Experience, 450 Fremont Street, downtown Las Vegas.
Looking good out there for you. We've been zooming over the track, Scratch. Got to come out, man.
What's that?
I mean,
Yeah, I heard you. All I heard was you got to come out. You're right. I agree with whatever else you said.
yeah, you got to come out. You got to come out. We got to get you out here with us. You'd like this. You'd like this. I mean, it's tight, but I mean, I'm going to tell you, you can't ask for a better crew than what they've got here. Jeff Motley, Jeff Motley. We'll have Jeff on the show here in a little bit.
Yeah.
Vice President Communications, Media Relations here. I mean, this is a top-notch team out here. This guy's got 6 to 800 media people, camera people, television, plus all the things. Tomorrow we got Rey Mysterio Jr. Remember Rey Mysterio?
Awesome. I do. I loved him. Loved him. I thought he was great.
And, Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
I remember Ray. I haven't caught wrestling in a long time. The last thing I saw about wrestling is Dusty Rhodes' kid won a title.
Yes, that wasn't that long ago either. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, I just don't catch. I'm working, and I just really I don't catch a lot of wrestling anymore. But
so when I was out in Vegas, you remember when I was a manager in the Future Stars of Wrestling out there, which is an awesome wrestling company out there in Las Vegas. But yeah, I was when I was the manager there, we had worked a lot of times with Sean Ricker, who is now LA Knight in the WWE. He's like a really popular. He's one of the popular wrestlers in WWE now. And every now I see him, I'm like, I always loved him when he worked with us at Future Stars of Wrestling because he was really good with his mouth talking. You know what I mean? He was a good talker. He would say he was just great at it. And I like a wrestler that's a great talker, and he was awesome at it. And that's part between that and his wrestling skill. It's great to see him, being a top star in the WWE. One thing that freaked me out is I was at the store one time, and I guess this is how I found out that he was like the new Slim Jim wrestler, where Macho Man used to be the spokesman.
Step into a Slim Jim.
Yeah.
I got you.
So LA Knight, Sean Ricker is I turned around and saw a display of Slim Jims, and he was on it, and that's when I was just like, oh my gosh, I worked with that dude before. That's crazy. So yeah, I watch a little more wrestling now because of that, but not like I used to.
Well, those guys are going to be here, and I believe it's Cassie Grimes, a silver medal swimmer from the Paris Olympic Games, is going to be here. Let's see, UNLV football coach Odom is going to be here. I think
they're doing great, aren't they?
Hey, man, UNLV, great football. God, man, they have not had a team out here. I mean, they haven't had a team really. Basketball has come along, not since back in the Tarkanian eras here in Las Vegas, but the football team is just. I mean, these guys are actually they're fun to watch. Yeah. And they lost the quarterback. They hated that. We won't even get into all that.
I've been following them a little. I've been following what's going on a little bit.
All money,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, you want to start paying these college kids? You might, if you're going to do that, you're treating them like pros. You might as well just cut college sports out. Just send them on to the pros.
I kind of, in my opinion, I kind of thought maybe when they were talking about paying college kids, that like all the college kids would get, let them. Their NFL careers are NFL careers. Right now, none of them are getting paid. So if you were to just give them all equal money, would probably be beneficial to college sports, because then you're not ruining college sports with money. You're paying these kids what they deserve to put their life on the line out there. So I don't know. That's what I thought. But then I realized it's not that way. I don't really know a lot about it, but I know that there's things that are involved where schools will give you more money over here and more money over. And I'd rather see them just give everybody equal money and pay them for putting their bodies and stuff like that on the line out there, and then let them go make their real money if they're going to be NFL players or college graduates or doctors or lawyers or whatever they turn out to be.
Well, and we'll get back into racing so this is it. So if we're going to pay them money, so then should we cut the scholarships out? I mean, because let's face it.
I see what you mean.
Your son is 6'8". He's 210 pounds. 220. 6'8", 220. He can slam a ball left and right. So I'm the coach at Duke, and I recruit your son to come here. And this is what, son, young man, young Scratch, young Scratch. You're going to play 4 years of basketball for the Duke Blue Devils here in North Carolina.
Do people actually play 4 years now in college? not
Well,
much.
okay, but well, that's all. So in return
Right.
for 4 years of whatever you want to study, if you wish to be a doctor, a dentist, if you wish to be in advertising, sports marketing, if you wish to be the tiddlywinks champion of the world, we will give you a 4-year education for completely free in response for you to play basketball.
Right.
So if you look at it that way, you look at what a college will pay, what it would cost a college to put an athlete through school.
Hmm.
So should we go ahead and pay the athletes and say, well, you don't get scholarship money if you want to play, you're going to have to pay.
Well, you know, the funny thing about that is that the education comes second most of the time now in college sports. The education part of it comes second,
Right.
which shouldn't be happening. But some of these players, like Shadur Sanders, for example, if some of these players are stars, they're allowing them to make their commercial money or some stuff like that is a whole nother story too.
Right.
They can get their extra money there. I think if you're going to pay the college athletes, I mean, first of all, a lot of these college athletes are getting the scholarship anyway.
Right.
So if you get a scholarship, if you're on a scholarship, whatever your scholarship is, and you get paid the same amount as whoever the superstar is, then there's not that problem. And then if you are a superstar, you are at least allowed now, unlike the old days, to go be in a commercial for
Right.
Midas or whatever.
Right. Well, we'll have to see what happens in it. There you go. Anyhow, Xfinity final practice yesterday here, Las Vegas Motor Speedway, the Embetter Health 302, getting ready to kick under in just about 2 hours and 15 minutes. Man, some great drivers up on top. Brandon Jones was the fastest in the last practice, had a 30.155 seconds, 179.075 miles on. He did it 2 laps on the 24th and 25th. Taylor Gray in his Operations 300 Toyota, he was second. Sammy Smith third. Cole Custard, 3D Systems Ford for Stewart Haas Racing. Him and his teammate Riley Herbst went back-to-back, fourth and fifth. Then you had Parker Klingerman, Eric Armarola back into the number 20 machine, Ryan Sieg in the 28, Sheldon Creed, Justin Allgaier, Austin Hill, Chandler Smith out there, and AJ Allmendinger ended up 13th fastest out there, Scratch. Quick shout out to Las Vegas native out there. Well, he's actually from California, but spent a lot of time racing here at the Bull Ring. Real good kid, Ryan Vargas in the Mike Harmon Chevrolet. He'll roll off 35th. But Brandon Jones won the pole for the Embetter Health 302 with a lap of 29. So that lap, actually, his qualifying lap, was better than the final practice. Scratch 29.439 seconds. That equals out to 183.43 miles an hour. 12th pole, 200. Excuse me. This was his 12th pole in 299 NASCAR Xfinity Series races. 4th pole and 11th top 10 start in 2024 for the season. First pole here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Cole Custer wraps it up. He'll start on the outside roll, Scratch working it for you. Posted his 22nd top 10 start in 2024. 9 races here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Chandler Smith wrapped it up in third. And Jesse Love. We've been talking a lot about that kid from Richard Childress Racing.
Yep.
Man, he did a lot of time at the Bull Ring here, and so it's good to see him. So let me see. Jesse's starting off on 8th, so he'll start outside row number 4. So we should have some good racing. It's going to be really cool here. Scratch, cloudy. I'm looking up still clouds. I'm looking at the monitor on the track as cup practice is rolling right now. And if I can turn around and look real fast up at the screen here for you. Well, my darndest goodness, your man, Martin Truex Jr. is up on the practice charts, leading right now, currently up on cup practice, Martin Truex Jr.
Well, I'd like to see him get a win on the way out for sure.
What do you think, man? You think he's done? You think he's completely done?
No, no, not completely, but a full-time racing, I'm imagining, but I think he might. I think he might run some Xfinity races. I know that he's going to run the 500.
He's going to be in a 2311 car.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing him over there. I mean, listen, I feel like maybe he's getting shoved out of Gibbs a little bit. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like maybe. I don't know that he really wants to retire. Maybe he does. He seems like a guy that loves the race, so I don't know.
I mean, are we getting the same friction here that we talked about 20 minutes ago? I mean, Martin, look at how many years Martin ran well, won a championship. Car was just on fire. You couldn't beat him. You couldn't beat him.
It's young versus the old now, I mean, that's just the way it is these days, I guess.
I mean, if you sort of look at it, if you sort of want to look at the pecking order, I mean, it's Denny Hamlin, then Martin Truex, correct? Then I would have to say legitimately Christopher Bell and then Ty Gibbs, but I think that's a little bit different considering that Grandpa owns the team. Okay. I don't know. I mean, I have this feeling that he might take the off season off and he gets down to Daytona there coming up, second week in February, gets back into it. Maybe, maybe the car that he gets into has got some real spunk to it. Got a shot to win, Scratch.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan's been known to pull some crazy stuff in his lifetime. And it's not like Michael couldn't field another car. I mean, he don't give a damn about the charter anyhow. So, I mean.
No, he just, so why not? Yeah, what difference does it make?
I want us to talk about that a little bit tomorrow, too, about this whole
charter. I like that, though. I think that, to be honest with you, I like it because I think he knows most of the time his cars are probably going to make the race. So, I mean, that's something, I guess.
I was sitting up here with Gene Woods, owner of Gene Woods Racing Experience. He owns this network we're on. And I looked at Gene yesterday, and Gene drove NASCAR. He drove the Winston West Series back here, drove all the West Coast tracks, California, Fontana. Yep. He drove he was an instructor at Fontana, too.
Yeah.
I looked at him yesterday. I said, Gene, if we had a car, you'd made the show. I said, you'd have made the show. You could have been the shittiest qualifier. You could have been the slowest guy on the track. You'd have made the show. He looked at me. He goes, are you serious? And I said, there's 40 spots. I said, they only put 37 in.
Yeah.
I said, you could have made the show. I said, if your grandson was old enough and had the experience, Harley could have made the show.
Yeah.
If you and I mean, I can't drive, but if we had a car for it and you had a NASCAR license to get on the track, you'd have made the show.
Yeah. Well, that's what's up with that. But yeah, I mean, like I said, he's got confidence in his cars, is what I was saying.
Yeah. Before we get to your little breaking news here that you got for us, I got to tell you, I was down. Diane and I were down walking. You know who's here this week, don't you? Seven times here.
Yes.
Painted up in a Dollar General, all pink looking car for you. Wasn't it pink, Diane? It was pink. Family Dollar, is that what it was? Family Dollar, okay. 7 times here, man. Supposedly this is it. He fired his whole team 2 weeks ago. Got rid of everybody.
Did it? His personal team that he had for his car.
Got rid of them all. He got rid of them all, man. He got rid of
the number 84. Yeah, because it was them driving slow in the back.
I guess so.
I'm just kidding. I don't know.
I don't know either. When I weren't on the track when he was at Texas Motor Speedway, running dead last, coming into 3 and 4, and the whole thing broke loose.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody touched him. He didn't get bumped.
Maybe they didn't put those special tires on there.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe they need to go back. Remember the old school days? Remember back in the old school in the 60s and the 70s when they used to run them bias-ply tires? They'd soak them in kerosene.
Yeah, they didn't put them special tires on there. Fire!
I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to be watching. I'm going to be watching him. I'm going to be watching him this weekend.
Me too.
I think Diane's getting hungry. She keeps pointing. So, anyhow, you got some breaking news before we get up out of here today.
Well,
you're gonna be ready to go tomorrow, correct? I'll be on time.
What time? I can't be on time if you don't tell me what time. It's yeah, maybe maybe I'll be on time. I don't know what time you're talking about.
I'll be. I say 9 o'clock. I say at 9. I'll give you a shout after dinner tonight. And we'll finish it. But yeah, we got. I think we got about 2 hours of time we can fill tomorrow, and I've got those. I've got those 3 really good interviews that we're going to roll.
Okay.
So we'll do that. We'll get Motley in here.
Yeah,
And so you got some breaking news. You got some breaking news. So you're not only doing the karaoke. You're not only got your comedy tour. You're doing radio and television. What else are you doing now?
I would say that something that you and I talk about every time throughout every year and every minute we've known each other.
You're
So
going racing.
I'm going racing.
Oh my God.
I am. I'm going racing. So we all know that I did that bit for us on Pit Road Racing with my buddy Nick Johnson and the figure 8 school bus racing.
I love that school bus stuff. That stuff was so cool.
Yeah, it was awesome. It really was. It was great. Well, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. I'm not going to race buses. I'm just going to say that right away before we get any further. I don't want. I'm not. That's crazy. I told Nick, I would never race a school bus because I feel like in a car when I make it through that, if I made it through the figure 8, I would know I made it through. But if I did it in a school bus, there's still 20 rows behind me that hadn't made it through yet. And I don't know if I can figure that out. But
that's one hell of a back quarter panel right there.
Yeah, you're not kidding. You're not kidding. Like I might be long through the intersection and still get flipped over. I don't like that. But yeah, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. And I decided, and my buddy Nick's going to continue to race the school buses for the Tour of Destruction. All right, which is all over the place. For instance, they got a event coming up this week at Anderson Motor Speedway in South Carolina, Tour of Destruction. And if you haven't been to a Tour of Destruction, they're all over the place, and it's awesome. So they're in South Carolina coming up next Saturday.
Wow.
But so we might. I don't know that I'm going to run in South Carolina, but they do a bunch of different Florida things. So what I have decided to do is build an enduro car. And I'm building an enduro car. I also got Nick an enduro car, and he's going to run the school buses, and he's also going to run an enduro car. So him and I are going to be teammates running enduro cars for C&L Towing down in Titusville. My good friend, he sponsored one of the Hurricane Vegas comedy tours when I came out to Vegas. After we left that, filming and enjoying the Tour of Destruction, I got the fever, and then we went to the 400 this year, and my buddy that owns the towing company, CJ, came to the race, and as soon as I seen him, I didn't even say hello. I said, will you give me a couple cars? I want to go race. And he said, you can have whatever you want. So C&L Towing in Titusville is making it happen. Myself and Nick Johnson, we are going to run 2 enduro cars at least November 29th at Orlando Speed World. If we can get the cars done a little bit sooner, there's a couple of other events we might do, which includes Cletus McFarland's Freedom Factory over in Bradenton. We might hit that place. He does a couple of different pretty cool things over there. Like they got the 2.4 hour of La Mullet coming up, which is something we were talking about. Yeah, they have the Tour of Destruction there. Ocala Speedway, they have Tour of Destruction. So we're going to try to do more stuff. But we're really just shooting for November 29th. If we get the cars done ahead of time, then we're going to do more. He's going to race a 2007 Honda Civic, and I have a 2004 Ford Focus 5-speed that we've got them almost stripped right now. We've got them both almost stripped right now, and we go down a couple times a week to Titusville, which is about an hour from where I'm at right here, and we go down there and we work on the cars, and they're going to tow the cars there for us and all that other stuff. So, yeah, after all these years of talking trash about going back racing and saying every time I go to the track, I get the bug. Well, the bug bit. And going back racing, it should be fun. Who knows what to expect. I'm just going to have fun. I'm going to try to film a lot of it, inside the car and out and, maybe put a lot of that stuff up just for fun, man. But I'm excited about it. Going back racing. I'm gonna put up on Pit Road Racing on the back of the car too.
Tell everybody what the enduro version of what enduro racing is.
Okay, well, the what they did at Speed World, it's basically, and I've seen it in all kind of different capacities. These are pretty much whatever you can bring. It doesn't even necessarily have to be a 4-cylinder. We chose that we wanted 4 cylinders. All right,
Okay.
but when I was there at Speed World for the Tour of Destruction, when I covered Nick on the buses, there was a Ford F-150, there was an LTD in there, there was all kinds of different things. As I said, he's going to race a 2007 Honda Civic, and I have a 2004 Ford Focus.
Okay.
And what they do at Speed World, which is like a third of a mile track, it's a circle track, but it's also a figure 8 track. We don't run the figure 8 course, which I've seen in enduro racing. We don't turn around and go the other direction, which sometimes halfway through a race, they'll at the halfway point, you'll turn around and go the other direction. So then you start facing cars coming at you until everybody gets turned around. But
Right.
here, what they do is in the back stretch, they put a couple of truck tires and they create a little swoop.
Okay.
So instead of going around in circles, you come around that back stretch and then you swoop in and out and come back around like that. So that's the gimmick for that. It's 50 laps. I mean, it pays 1,000 or 1,500 to win or something like that. And it's basically stock cars.
Okay.
We're gonna put a bar in it. I'm gonna put a harness in it and a window net in it, but those aren't even required. I'm gonna weld my doors shut. You got to at least chain the doors and stuff shut. You got to take all the glass out.
Right.
No cutting of the metal at all. You can't cut it up. We've taken out all the plastic, all the airbags, all of that stuff, all the
Right.
glass, all the lights. You keep the windshield in. Tour of Destruction, I found out by talking to Nick just recently that it's rain or shine, because I was like, let's take the windshield, I wanted to take the windshield wipers off. I did take one off. I just kept the driver's side on,
Right.
but it's rain or shine. So you want the windshield wiper on there, so which ought to be interesting because I've never raced in the rain for sure. But it's basically stock. In some cases it is just 4 cylinders. In the Tour of Destruction, it's strip it out, lock it down, cut some holes. You could cut some holes in the hood in case the car catches on fire. So you have easy access without having to take the hood off.
Right.
Some things like that. But it's pretty well stock. But
Okay.
I'm pretty happy with my Ford Focus. I'll be honest with you. I've been ripping it around the tow yard down there. I almost crashed it once
Now,
already, and
is, is,
it's
is,
not even built yet.
is the track asphalt or is it dirt?
It's asphalt.
Okay.
Now they do run this stuff, the same kind of show, the same Tour of Destruction show in Ocala. And that's a dirt track. In
Yeah.
fact, they're running that November 9th at Ocala Speed World, or Ocala Speedway, I'm sorry. And it's a dirt, and it looks like
Right.
it's set up for figure 8 too, now that I'm looking at it. So I don't know, I guess they run the figure 8s there too, but that's a dirt track. I wouldn't run dirt regularly, but man, if I can get this car done by November 9th, that's the place we talked about maybe going and playing around a little bit.
Right. I got you.
But yeah.
Sounds interesting. Well, way to go.
Yeah, man. I'm excited.
Way to go. Well, I'm just looking up at broadcast times tomorrow. So from 9 until 11, we are open. So it would be 12
Noon my
o'clock.
time.
Yeah, 12 your time would be so 9 o'clock here is 12 o'clock your time. So from 12 to 2 your time, we're open. So we have a 2-hour window. So we'll go ahead and schedule it for tomorrow from 9. We will be here.
That sounds good to me. I'm looking forward to it.
Any other comments, man? Pick a winner for you got anybody interested you think in the Xfinity series tonight?
You know what? I'm almost sure it's going to be a Junior Motorsports car because there's 4 of them in the top 6 starting out. So let's just leave it at that. It's going to be one of those 4, right? Or one of those 4 Junior Motorsports cars. Let's see. If you want me to really narrow it down,
Narrow it down.
Saint Mayer.
All right. His last run here in Las Vegas under the number 98 Monster Energy Ford Mustang. I'm going to pick local favorite Riley Herbst gets a win here tonight.
That's with your heart right there, Alan. That's with your heart.
Yep, I'm going to pick Riley. I think Riley's going to have a good. I watched him in practice yesterday. That car was staying straight down to the bottom of the line, and he was quick around the track. I think he was fourth or fifth overall. And but I think this is his last race here in Las Vegas under the Stewart-Haas colors, and I think I'm going to pick Riley Herbst in the '98 Monster Energy Ford Mustang to win tonight.
Well, you're out there. You're out there. You know the buzz. You've seen the cars. You've seen the rides. I'm not going to doubt you either.
All right. So we'll join you back tomorrow. I'm going to cut back in. I'll yell at you. We're going to see how things wrap up with the Xfinity. I know we've got a very early morning. So actually, we're going to head to dinner. Then we're going to head over to the Neon Garage. I think I'm going to stake myself out right in turn number 4 right there. Watch them come down out of the backstretch, and we'll see what happens, and we'll give them all a full report tomorrow, my friend. How about that?
All right. You guys enjoy the race. Wish I could be out there with you. Tell Diane hello, and enjoy your dinner and your catering and stuff.
You got it. We're definitely going to do that. You got it. We're going to roll it up out of here, man. We'll call for John to take us home for Scratch down in Daytona Beach. Alan Michaels here in Las Vegas. More to come with On Pit Road Racing. The Sunday edition joins you tomorrow, 9 a.m. on the West Coast, 12 p.m. on the East Coast, 2 hours prior to the South Point 400, right here on the WCOBM. Have a great night. Enjoy the race if you're watching on TV or listening on the radio, everybody.
Thanks for joining us for On Pit Road Racing. Follow us on our website, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at On Pit Road Racing. On Pit Road Racing is written and produced by WCOBN TV. I'm John the Announcer for On Pit Road Racing.